I'm back again, and it's time to put the first decal on, but I'm splitting it up into two sections. This is the decals, gray decals for the secondary hull. So there's a nice natural dividing line on either side of the transport emitters. And you can see it's decal number 53, which goes on the bottom. But you split it up into two sections, and then you won't have to worry about it folding or anything. You arrange the ship like the decal is, and just do the cutting carefully. See, you just have the two slits, and then you just cut around it. So I'll come back when it's ready to apply. So what I'm doing, now that it's all cut out, is I'm just, that's just a dry fit of how it will look. And we'll see how it's neat how it's a brownish gray, but that will go with the Syracuse look. And of course I have to use the water to get the area where it's going to go all wet so that the decal can slide around into the appropriate final position. Here we go. And of course I'm going to use green to reflect the color of decal application. All right, so I'll get the tweezers ready, put it on the paper towel, and we'll see how we go here. Because these decals are even superior to polar lights. They work a lot better. So there they are. It's on the paper towel. There you go, that's closer. Should be able to see the application, but I have to wait for everything to loosen now. You see the area on the decal there, that oval white circle? Well, it's an oval. Goes over the phasers. Now, keep in mind, the phasers stay the same color as the secondary hull in this case. Yeah, it's already sliding. Good. So let's see how we do here. That should be the case. So just carefully pull it off the backing paper, like so. And then you adjust it over the phasers. If you align it correctly along the phaser bumps, just like that. See? And then you fold it out. And I've got to go get the toilet paper, which is what I use for the large decals, but you can get the first picture here. All right, so you got the paper towel, and it is evenly sliced between the two. You use the phaser decals to align it correctly, actually. And it's aligned right around it. Now I know there's a bit missing there, but I am sure that the other decal will fit it perfectly. Because if you look here at the instructions, there is a bit of that hull pattern that is above the section. Because you don't want to nudge it too far forward, because then it won't be over the hull. See, you want to have it right over the phasers, just like that. Good. Okay, so then you pat it down. This is my first time using decals in about a year and a half, actually. Carefully smooth everything out, so I'll go over the panel lines. There you go. Here you are. That looks quite nice, actually. Here we are. Good. And from this side. And the other side. I don't know if you'll be able to get it from that angle, but well, there you go. Don't worry about that. That'll be covered up by the Aztec decals. But that looks great. I love how it looks. It's not too harsh. It's nice and subtle. Now, what I'm going to do for comparison is I'm going to get the Aztec decal, the light blue that I'm using for the Enterprise D saucer, and I'm going to apply it as well. And then we'll just we'll get the good comparison picture. So I'll be right back with that. You've got the saucer guide here. So I think I'm going to try decal number 31, which is the central bottom saucer, which is right here. It goes around the captain's yacht. So we'll start with that one, because 32 goes around the outer edge. And you want to split that up into two sections again, if you can, because it'd be Actually, I got an idea. If you put 32 on first, it should slide off in one piece. Yeah, because the clear sections are part of the decal film. It's not going to split up. So I'm actually going to try decal 32 first. All right, so I'll be right back. So you see the legend here. Kit decals will be in blue. It's for the Enterprise D saucer. See? And the decals will be in green, so that'll help distinguish between two sets of decals I'm using. So now it's time to cut out the bottom saucer one. If you look carefully, I don't know if the light will show it. See the raised edge there along the decal oval? So that's how you know where to cut. It's perfect because decals doesn't have a raised edge, but this one does. Yeah. Almost done cutting it off. All I have to do now is carefully cut a bit closer to the design, remove the number from the equation, and there we are, ready for soaking. Now, you have to check the design and, turn it around, because if you're going to have the saucer this way, but actually I want to have the saucer that way, so there we go, that's the way. Those black windows, they lead towards the front, and these sections fit the empty spaces of that. You see these bay windows here? Those are those bay windows there. So it fits just like that. There you go. So there is a approximate dry fit picture of how it will look. There's a picture of the instructions while I soak the piece with the legend. Alright, so I'll be back once I apply it. Good thing about having two sets of blue decals, if one fails, I have the other set. But I'm hoping it doesn't. Of course, I don't really have a... what would I do with the really harsh blue set? I wouldn't do much with it. I'd leave it alone. I'd save it as a backup in case the panels fail on the saucer, actually. But I want to see how the light blue decals look against the dark ghost gray hull here. And it's best to do this around the edge and then put the captain's yacht around the center, because you can see the empty space in there, and you'd actually put the captain's yacht decal on top of that. So I'm glad I didn't do it first, because it is a raised section anyway, so you might as well put a raised decal on top of a raised section. So let's see if it's loose enough to come off yet. Oh, it is. Okay, so here's another on-camera test. Forgive me if I'm not in view for the moment. Oh, this is working wonderfully, just like the 1400 scale decals. So just get the wrinkles out, move it slightly, little more, There you go. Now, you take a dry Q-tip and you carefully wipe out all the wrinkles. Move it over a bit so it's a bit more centered around the everything. Ah, there you go. See? That's empty. The escape pod decal section is perfectly empty, ready for the escape pod. I mean the captain's yacht, sorry. So, first thing I do is I find that toilet paper piece and I just put it right over. It'll soak up all the excess water. There we are. And then you take the microsol. Actually, I'm going to take the opportunity to put it on both decals, not just the one. And this will make sure that everything goes over top of the captain's yacht. The windows are aligned because they are nicely in front of the bay. Yeah, it's all aligned. Perfect. Good, 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 good. And that should, theoretically, get the wrinkle out. Because it'll settle down over top of the captain's yacht. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the one I just laid down here from Decals. That will help get the wrinkles out of this one too. There's not that many, but there are some near the edge. There you go. There you go. All right, good, 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 good. So, put the stuff away. Mark the guide with the blue highlighter. Leaving the spot for the captain's yacht separate because it hasn't been applied yet. All right, so there's a picture of the guide marked. There's the picture of the saucer. Now keep in mind, microsol set hasn't done its job yet. Well, microsol actually. But you can see from this angle there's no wrinkles. And if I pull back far enough, you can see the entire ship. So you can see, even though I chose the lighter blue Aztecs, how it is still pretty bold on the dark ghost gray hull. Yeah, a bit bold still. But that's okay. I mean, remember, Geordie did not have a chance to make it all gussied up and everything. So, of course, there's going to be a few flaws in the ship, but that's pretty good for now. Now I just leave it flat, let everything settle, and you have the contrast. So that's all for now. I'm going to take the beauty pictures for the Facebook, and I will be back probably tomorrow because I have all day off to work on more. See you then. Bye-bye. All right, so I applied the first Aztec decals to the Restored Enterprise D, the grayish-brown Syracuse decals to the star drive, and the bluish ones that'll have the near-white escape pods to the bottom of the saucer. I had to wait for everything to dry for a couple hours before I tried to get all the bub. I had to cut that off, and then I carefully used the microset and brushed out all the water on the bottom of the saucer. I mean, just take a little bit of toilet paper here and blot it out carefully, like so. That should let the microset dry. So I have all the reference images of the Enterprise D here, so I want to show you something. You see how it looks gray there, right? But if you look at an earlier drawing, that looks more bluish. And then you look at the orthographic drawing, you see how it's definitely a bluish themed saucer and a brownish gray secondary hull. Just like this image here, which is like the orthographic image, and you can see the credits, you know, Terry Metalis and everything. So it's, but you see, now my difference is not that stark, but you can definitely see it's a bluish saucer section in all the angles, just like it's a bluish saucer section on mine. And now I'm going to show you the other decals. So give me one moment. All right, so you have to take the decal sheets away until you get to the proper one. Which is the Enterprise D decal sheet. But here, for example, you have the ones that came with the original kit, the original 7-ship Enterprise kit, you know, and you see they're a bluish gray. But you see how faded those are. Now look at the escape pods. Wow, if anything, the brighter blue with a hint of gray actually, well, I don't know, are those escape pods whiter? No, they're not. But you can see, take a look at how much starker those would be. Okay, so it is faded. It is faded, just as I'd hoped. All right, good. Besides, here's my instinct. My instinct is that if it is indeed a different ship, then it has to show the difference between the two. I mean, you can't just have a... All right, 1 minute here. 1 second. All right, I feel better now. I'm going to go warm up the water, and we can apply some more decals. Okay, I'm back again. So the next step is to cut out... All right, so the next decals to use are number 29 and 30. I'll carefully cut them out of the sheet. Off the sheet. Taking care not to disrupt the number of the decal that is in between the two of them. Now there are a couple decals I'm not going to use. This stripe, D28, well, I've already done the darker torpedo tube stripe, which you can see in there, which was in the show. So you have to count for that. Because I did all the detail painting I could to emulate the show as closely as possible, keeping in mind that the television washes out all the color, but I showed you earlier how the Enterprise D Blue Aztecs had been faded relative to the rest of the ship. So just got to cut very close to the image. They don't have a raised edge like the other kit decals did. So I'm cutting as close to the image as possible, leaving a bit of overlap here. So D30 goes on that side. Just follow the rays. Follow the rays. There's the central ray. Good. Okay. Remember, this is the first time I've put Aztec decals on a Enterprise D in nearly 5 years, and the very first time I've ever put them on a 2500 scale model itself, so it's going to take a bit of time for me to get the hang of that, but that's why I always That's why I always label the guide. Okay, there we go. And that will dry fit just like that. But you can see you've got to trim the neck a bit unless it's designed to go onto the neck. But it looks like numbers 28 and 22 and 21 go around the neck on the spine of it. Just trim it a little bit. There we go. Into the water. I'll cut out the other side and I'll get ready for application. I'll be back once I've done that. And I'll try to do another part on the saucer as well. Maybe, well, not the back edge near the neck, but maybe near in here somewhere. Maybe the front edge. Maybe I'll try the front leading edge. Because then you'll have something to compare the gray and the blue side by side. It'll be close enough. Time to apply the first decal to the neck. That would be number 30. So you got to get the neck all swabbed down with the Q-tip. Slide the decal off. And then adjust it as necessary. I hope it slides off now. I'm going to have to... Alright. Well, maybe I'll try number 29 first. And hope it doesn't fold up on itself, because decal 30 is trying that right now. But it worked. It unfolded perfectly. Good. Here we go then. I know, doing this on camera probably isn't the best thing to do. It's a bit awkward trying to reach it. I'll be back. Well, it's lining up perfectly in the contours of the neck only. That's great. And we do the same with number 29. That's better. Sometimes being left-handed comes in handy. There you go. Getting all the water out. Getting all the wrinkles out. There you go. See? And they meet right at the neck. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. So now, take the toilet paper again. Blot out all the water from both of them, especially around the join, like so. Good. And then carefully get the excess away. Oh, this one has to nudge a bit. There you go, there you go. Good. All right, excellent. This one has to nudge closer, I think. Got to get it as close to the neck as possible. There. All right. Good. So now you use the micro set again, and you get the thick brush again, and you apply it to the decal to make sure that everything is all right. Of course, you have to nudge it up again because it keeps trying to slip down, so that's why I might actually do this in this case. There you go. There you go. Good. It's even. That's good. It's even on both sides of the neck there. There you go. Good. Good. All right. So there is the neck compared to the saucer. See? Now you get the blue next to the gray, and it doesn't look so bad after all. I like the contrast. And look, there's some of the same gray in the ring. All right, so I'll mark the guide, and then I'll move on to another saucer section, probably central front, to be as far away from that as possible. All right, so the next bottom section that I'm planning to use is number 33, central front. So you have to find it. 39, 35, 34, 40, 36, 42, oh, 33. There you go. Good, that should be small enough to put on in one section. These ones are going to have to be split up along a natural seam line, like right in there. Probably too big for one section. Same with here. Every couple sections split up. So I'll be back. And I love how the numbers, they say D33 on them. Whereas the gray Aztecs, well, they also do. They also say D45, etc. So they all have a letter D in front of them, which is great. So you never get confused and you'll never miss anything. And these bluish ones have the raised edges. Okay, so that's all ready. You can see the nearly white escape pods. Perfect. Get the section of the hull all blotted down with the water. And that's good. I'm doing a central section, as you can see. Yeah, I had to remark the neck greenish. But you see a nice central line right down there, which is perfect. And you see this little thing right here in front of the pennant? Well, it's not going to be there because the stand hole is right there. So that won't work at all. But I can at least work, no, I can't work on the one in front yet. Still needs a bit more touching up to get rid of that red. Because according to the decal, there is an empty spot which would clearly show those rays. So you don't want any trace of the red to be there. All right, so I'll be back once it's applied. Once again, the black windows help determine where exactly to put the decal, which is absolutely great. And the phaser kind of forms a barrier between the two sections. So you just nudge it up. Come on. The first decal that I tried to use on the secondary hull matted all up. So it didn't work. So what I'm going to might have to do is use the blue decals on everything except when I get to the star drive registries, because if nothing else is working, I'm going to try that. So I'm going to put all the Syracuse decals aside for now in the box and in the bag, because the escape pods weren't white anyway, and you want them to be white everywhere. Now, what do I do about the star drive section that already has the two gray sections? Well, I'd probably just put the blue over them. Or it'd be a patchwork, as Jordy said, because the Syracuse hull wasn't complete in any way. So now you have to look for number 52 in the Enterprise D, actually. So that would be in the secondary hull section, which is over here. So let me cut out that section. At least those sections are raised. and I accidentally split into two distinct sections just like before, so I'll be back with that. If the blue works better than the gray did, then I would simply put the blue over this fantail like I did, and that way it'll come somewhat blend in. Remember, besides, you get all the mistakes out of the way on the bottom saucer, and then you narrow down what you're using on the top, which as you can see hasn't had anything applied yet. And maybe it'll just be the difference in the hull color. That's what I'm going for anyway. So we'll just see what happens. Besides, at least then the escape pods will match on the entire ship. Now it's interesting. The blue secondary hull decals look a lot finer, a lot more subtle than the other ones. That's kind of strange. Alright, let's see how we're doing here. Just sliding off. So let's see if this works better. Well, that's almost 100% better. Just got to make sure it aligns over top of the escape. I mean the transporter emitter. So got to shift it over slightly. There you go. Well, that worked a whole lot better, didn't it? So there's the proof right there. Okay, so the blue decals are going to be the way to go, apparently, on this whole ship, which actually makes me feel better. Because that's what came with the 7-ship Enterprise set anyway. Alright, so blot it. Okay, so I will cut out the other half. And I'll be back. Or what you could do. No, they didn't dry blue, so blue escape pods everywhere. Blue decals everywhere. It's kind of a relief, actually, knowing that the whole ship will be the same color from top to bottom. It really is a relief. Of course, I did split 52 up into 3 sections. But that's good. That's very good. I'm very happy. Of course, there's nothing preventing me from using the darker Syracuse pinstripes and Starfleet Deltas with the gray background on the secondary hull to distinguish it. Maybe they both had Generations Blue Aztecs with the white escape pods. Maybe that was the difference between the Syracuse and the Enterprise D, which had the bolder blue with the gold escape pods. So that's how I'm going to distinguish everything in my mind, and that will make up for everything. So now you start putting stuff in this little bag here. See? All right, so let's try the application now. And if it works, we put on the final section. So, okay. Oh yeah, no hint of rolling or anything. Perfect. There we go. Yes, it was meant to be. Okay, good. Now, is the transporter emitter aligned correctly? No, bring it down a little. Once you moisten it, of course, so that it can actually move again. Just add a bit more water to the decal. You don't want it overlapping the phaser. There you go. There you go. Oop, not that much. bring it over a bit. Okay, I'll be back when I'm adjusting done. So, but here's an idea. Remember how Jordy said he only got the nacelles from the Syracuse? I believe that's the exact quote he used. So maybe the rest of the star drive. But I want to make it match. Of course, it'll be a slightly different hue. But there's the star drive anyway. That's good. I mean, these decals went on, so that kind of made my decision for me. They went on without a wrinkle, and they went on well, and I'm going to use the microsol to solidify them into place. Good, okay. And I may eventually replace the neck and the fantail with the blue decals, but for now, I'm going to put on the small part. Now, you see, in the instruction, it goes right up against the phaser. But you'll see how the tractor beam emitter section is actually completely encompassed by the stand hole. So what you want to do actually is just save this piece. So cutting along there. There you go. So put this in a little bag. You don't need it. And you know, there's probably no harm in doing the front section that lies, you know, in front of the phaser as well. Okay, so I do a little trimming here, and I'll put those pieces on. I'll be back. I'm very glad I have several sets of decals, because this really comes in handy at times like this when I need to fix things. But so far so good on the bottom of the hull, so I'm very pleased with that. And I've done this section now, and I've got it oriented the right way. So it goes around the edge of the star drive, and yeah, I'm going to make the entire, because that one section messed up, it left me no choice. I'm going to make the entire ship with these faded blue decals with the white escape pods. The only difference will be Syracuse pinstripes and registries. And that way, the whole ship looks consistent like it did on the show. So, there we go. Turn it around this way. And it is oriented the right way according to the instructions. Yes, because there's that blue goes over the phasers. All right, so it goes over the phaser. So here we go. Move it from left side to right side. So there we are. Going over the phaser. Perfect. And you just have to move it a bit. Yep, so moisten again the decal, because you want it to be able to slide just a bit more over to the left. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. There you go. And slide back just a bit. There we are. There we go. So that it goes perfectly along this edge. Slide back on the left just a smidge. Bring it over. There we go. Good. Excellent. Now, bat it down. You can see these light blue sections are along the edge, but they're not poking over. So you just put the micro set on it again across the entire area. All right, good. So that is that. And to finish the job, I'm going to do the fantail, cutting along the line between the two phaser sections again. And put the blue on top of the gray. So that will make everything consistent. Because you don't want anything to go wrong. The best way I can think of is to just make everything consistently blue now. Good thing you did the experimentation on the bottom, because the contrast was bugging me. The contrast is supposed to be between the paint color, not between the Aztec decals of the ship, so it's actually doing it better this way. Okay, good. So I'll be back when that's applied. It's already 12 minutes here. It's a bit surprising that the decals failed like that. That's the first time for me, but that's all right. That's why I have this blue set, and it'll just be the pinstripes that make the difference. But you can see how the painting in that area is free and clear and visible. And the stand hole is free because you just used that one section. All right. So we'll see how this looks on top. I'll be back when it's applied. And that'll finish for tonight. Do the neck tomorrow. Well, it appears I got it exactly aligned from day one, and it's just a bit darker on top of the gray, but you can still see the dominant blue throughout the entire piece. So I got it aligned exactly over the gray on the first try. It even went right over the phasers as well. So that's absolutely perfect. But the good thing is it's on the bottom, so you won't see it. You won't be able to tell. You might be able to tell on the bottom neck. Might not be able to. Micro sol again. Along the entire piece. That should get out all the wrinkles. It's kind of nice though. I'm very glad that this that happened, because that inconsistency between the two sets of decals was bugging me. Now I don't have to be worried. Now I don't have to be bothered. Okay, good. All right, so now it's time for the proper pictures. So I'll take the phone off the stand for that. You know, I kind of like that mix of blue-gray, the darker one on the fantail, and it's going to be the darker one on the neck as well. That's quite nice. The happy mistake turned out to be a good thing, because it allowed me to make a consistent white escape pods across the entire ship. Now, I'm not going to do something so crazy as trying to get the paint any of the windows white or anything. Certainly not going to try that. But that's wonderful. It aligned almost exactly perfectly. That's brilliant. So that is all for tonight. And I'll be back tomorrow when I do the neck. You can see the neck decals here. And then that'll be consistent blue Aztecs across everything. along the entire ship. And the only difference will be the pinstripes, the Starfleet arrowheads, and of course the registries, and of course the slightly different hull color. And that'll give me a chance to compare the blue on the darker one against the lighter one. Yeah, good. So, see you tomorrow. Fixing the neck as well. So now the blue is over the gray, and the entire ship is now consistent. And I like how there's different shades of gray actually poking through here. So that's quite something actually. That's kind of neat. But it's still mostly blue, which is good. But it kind of makes a neat contrast with the ship. I kind of like it. And it's not too different from the secondary hull, just a little darker. Yeah, that's kind of neat. So now I'm going to leave the ship like this. Focus only on the blue decals tomorrow, because those are the ones that have proven themselves to be the good ones. You can see how when I remember when I did the neck in blue, I had to go over it with green. Well, I had to go over it with blue again because that was proven to be the absolutely correct color in every section. So that's absolutely wonderful. I'm very happy that I can use all the Aztecs from the 2019 kit after all, which is good because I'm sure Jordy repainted the star drive to match the Enterprise D saucer. Just the star drive was a slightly different shade of gray. Yeah, so now we're good. Now we're good. Oh, I see a little something here. Just give me 1 second. Hopefully that'll be taken care of by the microsol and the microset. There was a little fold, I think. And remember, if everything's that's better. If everything's not perfect, well, it's no problem. Okay. Oh. Right, I see something there. Give me 1 moment. Alright, so I smoothed out the wrinkle. I got that mostly as centered as I could. But remember, Jordy didn't have time to do the perfect paint job. He just wanted to get the ship functional. So any mistakes will be passed off as that. But at least it's a consistent blue color now. And remember, he might have actually he might not have been able to get all the old paneling off the neck and the fantail, and he might have had to put the blue Aztecs of the Enterprise D matching saucer on top. So, and it's on the bottom anyway, so it won't matter. Good. So that's all for tonight. Bye-bye. Here's just an experiment. The updated Aztec decals. One of the gray decals on the star drive rolled over and malfunctioned on itself. So I had to kind of blend the hull in by putting the gray decal over the fantail, gray decal over the neck, and putting the blue decals with the whitish escape pods on the saucer. And I'm using the flash in this video to see if it helps blend it in a little bit compared to flash off, you see? And I think it's actually working a bit. Because that's what they would use on the show. They probably use the flash in it. Washes out some of the colors a little bit. And there's the other side. And here's the front. So that's all for now. And we'll see you later. I'm back again. I'm here to do the decals on the inner phaser boundary of the saucer, which is good because the phaser will form a nice boundary and prevent it from easing over. And you'll still be able to tell the phaser somewhat because of that gray blank section. So since I'm left-handed, I'm going to work around this way. So you start with number 41, which is going to be on the, when you're looking at the bottom, here. And it should join right up to the neck. At least that's what I'm hoping. Based on the shape of it. So it should fit in something like that and go right up to the neck. So I'm going to do the cutting and we'll see how it looks when it's on. The good thing about having the windows in the hall is you can make sure that the decal is settled down into them. So I'm going to put the micro set on there just to make sure. Micro sol, sorry. Use the phaser as the boundary. Okay, good. So that's that one. That is number 41, and I'll move on to the one on the far side so you don't touch a wet one. So I have decal number 40. I've outlined the area where it will be. Here we go. And it goes right up against the central section that I've already attached. That's kind of why I did the central section first. Could use it as a reference point for attaching the other decals. So we'll see how this one goes. I'll be back. Alright, so as you can see from the guide, there is decal number 40 applied. And here it is on the ship itself. I made it go right up against it. And, thankfully, the windows fit nicely into their indentations. Yes. And look at those beautiful white escape pods just like in the show. For me, that was the defining characteristic of the show. Picard Season 3, Episode 9, was the white escape pods. That's what stood out for me. So I looked through my sets of Aztec decals for the Enterprise D, compared the two sets of blue. This was the one with the most white escape pods. And so that's what I'm using for this ship. And here's a comparison. Here's a secondary hull. So they're a little more blue on this, but that's because the decals are somewhat transparent, whereas this is more of a brownish gray. And yeah, there you go. Good. So now I'm going to have to move around to here again, fill in this missing section with decal number 39. So let me outline that. There we go. And there is decal 39. So wherever there's a set of black windows, and there are two sets, you have to make sure that the small black windows indent in there, big black windows indent in there, and it should fill the space between the grid lines. Because I made sure the windows indented there, as you see. So it's working. It's working. The windows as the indent guide, make sure everything aligns correctly. And then I'll have the whole inner ring of the saucer done, and it'll be butted right up against the star drive neck. So I'll be back. I'm trying to take I'm trying to take shorter videos because I realize the video I'm going to upload tomorrow evening, it's an hour and 24 minutes long, so I'm going to have to watch all the footage and break it up into neutral chapters. Break it up into chapters. And that video contained the assembly of the ship and the detail and base color painting. So it covered quite a lot. So I'll bring you down to the desk now and we'll try one on camera. Because these blue decals, I love them. They're really working great. So I have, and of course I braced it up against the, the decal backing paper trash bin, for lack of a better word. So let's see if I can get on camera here. They come off nicely. They come off in one piece. They only need a minimal adjustment to align correctly. Now there is a slight gap. I see that. Oh, wait, maybe not. Oh, that's wonderful. You can't see a gap. That's perfect. Just bring it up. There you go. Now, is it indented in the window? well, we're going to apply the microsol and find out. Just bring it down, just nudge it down a little. There. Actually, there. That's better, without the refuse. And then we apply the microsol. Sorry if my shadow of my head is in the way. All right, so there. Good, it's not overlapping the phaser. Excellent. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's excellent. There we are. So mark the guide that section has been applied. See, there we are. And you know, there's the registry. So I will probably apply the registry. Now the registry can come from two places. It can come from the Blue Aztec decal set, or it can come from the actual kit. I'll take it from the Blue Aztec decal set. The one that came with the kit is with the 7-ship Enterprise set right now. So I will move on to the final decal for the inner ring, which is decal number 42, which goes right there, and I'll be back when it's applied. Again, there are windows, 3 sets of windows to make sure I align that decal correctly. You can see the outline for decal 42 here. Of course, I've turned the ship so that I can access it. Yeah, I'm thinking it might be better in the future to set the camera on the left side, move the water dish over to the right side, so that my shadow doesn't get in the way. I'll have to look into that in the future. And there's another reason to do that. Because if I did that, I'm going to experiment on that right now. If I experiment on that right now, there's a backdrop. The backdrop is the Star Trek model shelves. And the, yeah. Okay, now let's see here. So when I turn the ship so I can work on it, looking in the camera, well, there's still a bit of a shadow, but we'll deal with that. Give me one moment. Just want to see if this works better. I wish I was right-handed. I could approach it from the other side, but I'm not. All right, just a bit of alignment to fix here. Nudge it down, 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 down. Join, good. There we go. Down a bit. It's aligned in its own windows. That's perfect. So what you do is you blot it out. Blot out the water first so it doesn't move. Then you apply the microsol, which is ironic because it's actually closer to microset function, so it'll actually set itself in place. And yes, I know some of the decal is actually nudging itself up against a neck join, but that's all right because it's settled in place. It'll be fine. Mark the guide. Oh, can you even see the model? Oh, there. That's better. There you go. Now, if you could get a good image without the glare of the camera, let's see here. There. Zoom in on just the central ring of the saucer. There you go. So we'll get the pictures now of the saucer's central ring. Have to be offset a bit so you don't have the glare of the overhead light in the way. There. Good. Okay. So the last thing to do now, actually, is to find the Enterprise D registry, which, as you see, is number 43. You see how it's marked in black? That means the detail decals. And ignore the color callouts, which are the square black letters. So let's find decal 43. So I'm sure it is, maybe it's this one. No, sorry. Wait a minute. I found it. Here it is. There's decal 43, the smaller registry number on the bottom. So I will cut it out, apply it, and that will be it for, well, this morning at least, because I still have videos to edit for tomorrow. And maybe I'll come back in the afternoon and we'll do some nacelle decals. In this case, you're putting a decal on top of a decal, but that's why I waited until it was the decal I had put on yesterday, to make sure that nothing went wrong. It looks good, and I kind of like the contrast, you know, the slightly brownish gray neck versus the blue. Yeah, get the decal out now. Only want to leave it in the water for a few seconds. You don't want it to slip off the backing paper while it's still in the water. That would be a disaster waiting to happen. So let me arrange things a bit so that you can see me applying the decal to the ship itself. So, according to the guide, you have to center it between the windows, the front center windows, and that, and it just comes up to the two small windows. So it kind of frames in between the two small windows, which are on either side of the transporter emitter. So here we go. What are we up to? 12 minutes. Okay. All right, so as you can see, we have to nudge it across a bit. Now, checking the transport emitters. The one is right at the left edge. Right there. There you go. And just center it out a bit along the panel line. Get the toilet paper. Now, check it. Check it. There's the ship straight up and down. Does it work? That looks good to me. All right. So here we go. Blotting. Excellent, excellent. There we go. Good. I didn't want to try it without doing that at least. Oh, nudge it over a bit. There you go. Right over that panel line. Come on. Up to the panel line, but not over it. All right, good. Microsol, sorry. There. Okay. So now we get ready for all the picture taking. All right, so I'm taking the pictures now. Try to zoom in and focus just on the saucer. Got to turn it so that the shadow doesn't get in the way. Here we go. Couple more. There. All right. So that is that's it for the Enterprise D. You can see it here, and if I hold it up the right way, you can see the registry number right side up, right beside me. So I think that's a successful bit of decaling over the last couple days. I'll focus on the star drive nacelle struts this afternoon, which will cover up any paint boo-boos. But remember, we had trouble with the port nacelle, and that is the bottom of the port nacelle that had the paint boo-boos. So that's good there. So I'll see you everyone this afternoon, and happy modeling. Bye-bye. So here's the Enterprise D saucer section inner ring complete. I had to adjust the registry number compared to the instructions to make sure it's completely centered. Now you see how the instructions have it almost on top of the transport emitters, nudging up against the windows. Well, if you look at those window bays, there isn't room to do that. So what I did instead is I simply nudged the registry number up against that panel line that you can see there along the top of the lettering, and made sure it was centered on either side. So now it's good. Now it's good. So I'm going to take the picture. Oh, move it over. Cover up the spot there. There you go. Hi, it's Sean. My cell phone ran out of room, so I'm having to use a digital camera and its remaining battery life before I charge it. I got the starboard nacelles done and the port nacelle, so the entire bottom star drive is done. That's the Syracuse pennant. You can tell because it has a dark gray Starfleet Delta. And now I have arranged the star drive sections, the saucer outer edges. So I'm going to put them on, and then that'll be it. I'll have done it today, and then I can start flipping the ship over and doing the other side tomorrow. So I'll take pictures on the cell phone when that's done. My phone ran out of storage at the end again. So I have got the saucer complete. You can see all the way around the ship. There you go, there's a good view, but of course I'm going to have to tilt it like that so that you can get a good picture without the glare in the way. So I'll switch to picture mode now. Alright, I'm back again. I've got the entire star drive done, as you can see on the guide here. And as you can see from the picture and the video that I'm taking right now. And you can see how even the lighter, see how it looks gray? See how that looks blue? So because it's somewhat transparent, it's working. You didn't need to use the gray after all. That's perfect. But the different hull color makes the change. So I'm going to put on the first outer saucer wedge now. All right, so the first outer saucer edge is on. You can see that here. And what I did to make sure I got it aligned correctly is I used the bottom of the box, especially under the phasers there on top of the impulse engine housing. You see that light white triangle? So I aligned it there. And you see how the box has white escape pods, not yellow? Because look at the Enterprise D. Well, actually, those are white escape pods on the 7-ship set also. So I'm going to put on a couple more on the opposite edge of the saucer. I'll be right back. There's the image I was looking for. See? They're yellow on the front of the D. Alright, as you can see from the guide, I did the two rear sections. And you can see from the picture I'm going to take now. So now I'm going to do the front. Middle front. And that is section number 34. I almost said section 40, but I already did section 40. That's a Dallas reference. So I should be able to put that on in one... Wait, is that number 34? Yeah. I should be able to put that on in one shot. We'll find out. All right, we're about to find out if I can put this on in one... You know, if this piece is small enough to put it on in one shot. I've identified the grid lines. It must lie in between. Here we go. Ooh, so far so good. That's the good thing about a nice flat surface. There you go. All right. So is it in between the grid lines? Not quite. Come on. Shift over. There you go. Bring it down a bit towards the front so it isn't nudged up against the face. There we go. That's better. Nudge it over a little. There. See? There you go. Good. So that are the 3 sections of the saucer. Good. So now I'm going to try section, I mean, that was pretty big. Section 35 is only a little bigger than that, so I'm going to try that in one swoop as well. It will be good for the record to do this on camera. So I have the big piece here. All right, so I'm going to take it from the leading edge of the dry one this time. There we go. Pull this way. There. Now all we have to do is make sure that it nudges up against the other one so that there's no gap. Make sure there's no gap on the other one either. There you go. Bring it down a little bit. Wow, there you go. I can barely tell where the section is now. That's good. That's exactly what you want. You want to not be able to tell where the section is. Just got to make sure the windows align. There you go. There you go. Got the windows aligned in both areas. Oh, bring it down a little bit. There. And there. Good. Okay. There you go. Excellent. Okay. So I'll apply the microsaw and then I'll do the next one. Okay. So here we go for the last piece of the model. Ooh, that's a glare from the ceiling light. Ah, there we go. That's better. All right, so now once again, you bump the piece up against the part that was dry already, which is here. And you carefully release it. There. And then you nudge it up beside it. You align the windows. You get rid of that gap because you don't want a gap. And by aligning the windows, you actually reduce the diameter. and therefore make sure there is no gap. Okay, so the windows are aligned along there, and they are aligned along here. Good. So now you just put the paper towel on it, blot it out carefully. Make sure that didn't dislodge the window alignment. Nope. Nope, good. Okay, this is Sean. I'm back again, and I'm here to show the results of yesterday's decaling on the restored Enterprise D. I managed to get all the secondary hull decals down, except for a couple of detail ones. Of course, as you can see from the guide, I will be using the Syracuse detail decals. And their registries, of course. Like decal number 50, decal number 54, decal number 67, even decal number 70. But all the other decals that are mentioned in white are the ones that are going to be used from the Enterprise D set with the more bluish Aztecs. But as you can see from the ship, it looks more like a deep blue-gray when it's applied. So I'll upload this today. Hello everyone, it's Sean. I'm back again. And this is I just applied the Tamiya Flat Clear to the model, the Facebook suggestion. I've got back the painting stand for the Aztec decal application on the top side, once the flat clear on the bottom side is dry. Ooh, it seems to have had a good effect already. Take a look at this. Look, there's no gleam whatsoever. There's also no, what would you call it? Smearing. So I'm going to go get the cardboard and we'll take some more pictures now that it's flat. And I do have a plan for the fantail where the two sides are somewhat misaligned compared to the phaser strip, phaser bump. One moment. All right, so first the pictures. Right, rotate it the other way. I'm just rotating the thing with it on it so I don't smear it. Good. And then the True Beauty shot, which is the registry, showing the registry. There you go. Okay, now I'm going to discuss my plan. Now, it really graded out, really blended it in. I'm pleased, but here's my plan. If you look at the, let's zoom in without having to move. If you look here at this phaser, it is slightly misaligned, the phaser opening with the decal. Now that's not too bad. But if you look at the port nacelle, it is completely misaligned. The phaser bump is actually further over, right at the edge of the nacelle. You can see it right here. And if you look at the port nacelle, you will see how the Aztec decal only comes... Oh, wait a minute. Move the camera around. 1 second. If you look at the port nacelle, you will see how the Aztec only goes part way up it. Focus on finger. See? So what I'm going to do, I am going to take the slightly bluer with a mix of gray Aztecs in here. All right, let's zoom it down back to where it was before. There we go. I'm going to take the slightly blue-gray Aztec, especially on that side. I'm going to cut out that section. I'm going to replace it on the ship. And I'm going to carefully cut the old decal off. And that way, I know the port nacelle is going to look a bit different, especially after the clear coat was applied. But Jordy did say that the port nacelle gave him trouble. I really want to fix that section. And you could always cover up the rest of the ship and then just re-clear just that section. It'll look different, but it'll have some gray in it. But I see it as the only way to fix the misalignment issue because that's really bugging me. And I should have thought of that before I sprayed it flat clear, but I had forgotten what I said yesterday, that because I have 2 sets. Alright, hello, it's Sean. My cell phone ran out of battery again, but here's what I'm thinking. You see these top halves of the secondary hull? Oh dear, there you go. You see the top halves of the secondary hull for the 2019 kit? Yes, they're a slightly harsher blue, but they also come without escape pods on them. So it seems to me that on the top of the ship I want to illustrate the contrast slightly. And you see how everything got grayed out with the flat clear, so you don't have to worry. I'll apply these on there. I'm already going to apply one of the ends, maybe even both of them, to there, to overcome the phaser misalignment, which I'm going to have to actually cut the decal off because the microcell got it down so well. It's pretty good on this nacelle. Could have been leaned a little bit. Well, actually, I'm going to cut them both off here and put on the blue ones instead. You know, in fact, you could probably try to put the entire fantail on as one piece just to get it over with. You could mask off the nacelle and everything else, or at least cover it with a bag or something. Respray the rest of the Wait a minute! I got an even better idea. Why don't I just flat clear these decal sheets before I even put them on the ship? That saves a lot of complicated masking. That would tone down the blue on both sheets. That's a neat experiment. At least, yeah. That's a good idea. I'm going to try that. In fact, since the flat clear is still good, I think I can try that now. There we go. So I laid them out and flat cleared all 3 of those sheets. We'll see how much it tones them down. I seem to have missed the nacelle thing. It didn't get as toned down as the rest of it. But give it some time. And we'll just see what happens next. But because of the way the lid is leaning, I'm going to do that. There. Actually, I'm going to lean the saucer. Just one moment here. So, the center sheet got another coat of flat clear. And we're just going to see what happens once it's dry and applied to the ship. Because I might just replace the entire fantail section with the now hopefully toned down blue. And we'll just see how it looks. And it's on the bottom anyway, so that should work. That really should work. Because remember, once the flat clear is dry on the decals, they're put in the water, they're applied as per normal, but the flat clear won't come off. And then we'll just see what it looks like. But that's good. That way I can cut off the entire section from the fantail carefully and replace it. Just to make sure you might end up replacing that pennant there with the oh no, you probably just cut along the pennant too. Just nip off the end of it. The red dot will still be there. That'll be the indicator. So that's the plan. That's a plan I'll start on Sunday because I'm going to be going away on Saturday, tomorrow. So I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Alright, thanks for waiting. I'm back again. So I managed to get the decal off the outer nacelle struts and the fantail. I marked out the transport emitters in vintage white so they'll stand out. You know, I'm going to get around to this angle, see if I can get a better view here. There, I marked out the transport emitters in vintage white, so I align them again. Any scrapes and everything, paint smudges will be covered up by the decals, which will now be this fantail decal. Still going to split it up into 3 sections, aligned along the transport emitter, of course. You don't want anything to go wrong with that one. So, you lay it out. There you go. Okay, good. So that's going to be the one to use. Split up into 3 sections. And you know, it should be... I'm going to wait till the evening to assemble it. I mean, install it. Then we'll just see how it goes. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye. So I changed the white balance to a more incandescent that doesn't wash out all the colors. I'm about to withdraw the decal here, the one that had extra coats of the flat put on it. Now it does look very bluish from this angle, but that's kind of deliberate. What I'm going to do is the ones with the escape pods, those are going to be the faded ones, obviously. As is the neck, yes. But when I get to the top, maybe not the nacelles. When I get to the top of the start, I'm going to experiment. I'm going to see how this looks, and it'll determine whether it gets the faded color or not. So I will be back with the result. Here's how the fantail looks. I might as well put the other 2 sections on now. So, it's applied now, the proper bluish fantail. You can see how faded it is already, which is great. So now we take the pictures from all sides before I apply the microsol. And that'll be it. Now, the mistake will have been corrected. So, there. So I'll take the pictures now. But first I'll give you a walk around all sides. So, there's from the front. There it is. Long there, good. Slightly more bold, like the neck. There you go. And then the very back itself. Alright, so now it's picture time. So I'm glad that's done. And it's good because that means that both the separate kit and the 7-ship Enterprise kit contributed something to this model, just like the Syracuse Star Drive was donated to the Enterprise D. So what I'm going to do now, let everything dry, put the microsol set on there. You see how it's perfectly aligned over the phasers now, see? Perfectly aligned over the phasers at the corner of the strut, just as it should be. See? See there? So that's great. So now, just let everything dry and apply the microsol, and then I'll come back probably Sunday and start the top. See you then. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back again. I was a bit overzealous, I guess, with the spray, because it took away some of the window indents. Good thing is, though, thanks to the guide, I know which windows I can cut out from here, say number 40, because it'll need a window, and I can replace them. So I'll do the window replacements, cutting them out from these saucer decals I won't need anyway, and we'll see how it goes. Well, it's working so far. I'm just going around here and fixing any of the windows. So next up is using the part of decal 33 on that and on that, so you have two windows to pick from. It's only the indented ones that were wrecked. But it's good that I decided I'm going to use the Boulder Blue as well, so it's all working out in the end. I'll come back when I'm done. You see from the guide, hopefully. See those bright green patches? Those are the replaced windows, which you can see on the hull. So that's good. I had to use a set even from the gray Syracuse windows, but now the ship is truly complete on the bottom side all. Hello everyone, I'm back again. This turned out to be a decal repair day, actually. I had to, when I applied the flat coat to the saucer, it blew off some of the window decals, so I had to borrow from the Boulder Blue Aztec set the windows. And I didn't like the glaring gray here, so what I did is, and the misaligned phaser decals, you know, the decals around the phasers. So I took the bold blue secondary hull, as you can see from the instructions, and I put them on the fantail and along each side of the nacelle strut, aligning them with the phaser decals this time, and the transport emitters. So now the Enterprise D bottom section is all fixed, it's all repaired, and we're ready on Sunday for the top.